hear us. Hi, everybody out there. You should be able to hear us now. Hopefully, we'll be streaming onto the ROVER Facebook page, and also we'll hopefully be streaming on YouTube and Twitter very soon, if not already. We've got a semi-final lineup. Jonathan Secker there, just doing his last-minute revision, I think, with his Rovers shirt behind him. We've got Mark Hitchen, who's got a new, he's in a lovely kitchen with a lovely hairstyle. Would you like to explain to the public how that came about?
It's not a fashion statement. School and friends sort of asked me to shave my hair, which was not something I was prepared to do. I said I'd rather bleach it, and it sort of snowballed into there. I set a £500 target, and we got 400 in about 4 hours, so I quickly realised it was happening. And I've just attempted walk down cut number 2 today in the garden, so
it's all gone a bit like if you were to compare yourself to a famous person with a similar sort of hairstyle, what were you aiming for?
I was just aiming for it not to go green or fall out.
Oh well, so, that's gone well. You look a bit Ridian Roberts. If you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks. I've had Jedward's dad, Alan Smith,
Will Hughes. Will Hughes.
Yeah. What else have I had? Oh. England, when England Euro 96 was on, about Gaza, which I don't think was complimentary.
So you got your celebration sorted then?
Yeah.
There's a dentist chair just through that door behind.
Yeah.
So we've got, I think we're all on beers tonight. I've got not as niche as usual, just a Desperados for me.
Yep, Coors Light for myself.
Guinness Clear.
We will wait until 1:15 to actually start the questions. It's only fair for people who might be joining in at home. If you are already there waiting, just watching this, then if you could think of maybe a viewer's question, a viewer's question that we can ask at the end. I do kind of have one in reserve that was in one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, which is not Rovers related, but if needs must, we can always have a go at it. It's quite interesting. But we'd ideally like it to be Rovers related because it is a Rovers trivia quiz. So if you can think of a viewer's question, put it in the comments either on Facebook or go to @Rovers_chat on Twitter, or put it in the the YouTube comments as well. And then our social media guru will get onto us and let me know if there is any viewers' questions for us. It's a bit of a mammoth quiz tonight in terms of the number of points available. It's 61, which is the second highest points number that I've done so far. And that includes the dreaded dare duel at the end, which is worth 5 points. We've had really good dare duels last 2 times we've had the quiz where it's been decided on that. So worth watching right till the end to see if the nerves get the better of these 2 guys. So I'll let them introduce themselves now. I'll start with Jonathan. Beat Tony Avino in the last of the quarterfinals to make it to this semi-final. Are you feeling good, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm okay. I was glad to get through on the dare duel, which has tested Tony's nerve just as much as mine, but all good. Looking forward to tonight.
And when did you start supporting Rovers, and what's your kind of I know you write for Rovers Chat, so you're part of the home team, really.
Yeah, right for Rovers Chat. So I might as well plug something that got released today on the Rovers Chat social channels, where I did an article on bargain buys, looking back actually over who, in my opinion, have been the best value Rovers signing since I started supporting in 1992. So I don't know why, but I restricted myself to try and put it into a list of 10, whereas I should have been much nicer to myself and done 15, 20, but had some good feedback, some good responses on that as well. So anyone who's listening has not had a look, let us know your opinions because they're all good. Yeah,
I read it. It's a really good piece. And there's a couple that I thought maybe could have got in there, but you chose well, I think, in general. And Mark, it's been a long time now, actually, hasn't it? It's been a couple of months since you did your quiz.
Yeah, it was, lockdown was still a bit of a novelty then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Are you feeling good though?
I'm all right. I'm all good here. Thank you. Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. So let's. It's now 16 minutes past. I think we're having a bit of a problem with Twitter, but we'll just kind of wear that out as we go. Let's get the questions started then, starting with the traditional random bag of crap questions at the start. So let's go into question number 1. Which country did Aminu Linganzi represent in international football? Absolute Rovers legend, of course. Also played for Accrington Stanley, I think. Obviously, I've tried to kind of make the questions more difficult with it being a semi-final. You might find that as we go along. Who scored the most league goals for Rovers, David Goodwillie or Nuno Gomez? Usually I've been doing like obviously quite high scoring these, but I thought I'd change it up a bit this week and go for these two.
So that's just league goals, yeah?
Yes, league goals, yeah. Okay, question 3. Which Rovers player was awarded an MBE whilst playing for the club in 2010? It's funny what you find out in the research for these. I had no idea about this, I have to say. So which player was awarded an MBE whilst playing for the club in 2010? Question number 4. Which club was Jim Smith's last job as a manager? So we're not talking about caretaker managers or assistant managers. We're talking about the number 1 job. Which club was his last job as a manager? Dearly departed Jim Smith. Question number 5. From which club did we sign Martin Darlene in 1997? Massive star of Euro 92. I wouldn't say he was a massive star at Ewood, but he scored a couple of goals. Who did we sign him from, though, is the question. Question number 6. Who made more Rovers League appearances, Yuri Djorkaeff or Dino Baggio? Again, change it up a little bit. Instead of having hundreds of appearances, we're talking about a few here. And again, just league, not cup. You'll be glad to hear there's no spelling question. I ran out of difficult things to spell quite early on, I think. I suppose Djorkaeff in a way is quite difficult to spell.
Yeah, I think
Question 7.
I had a tough one when you did that. It was the Turkish side, wasn't it? But it's hard enough remembering what Turkish side it was, everyone spelling it.
Yeah, Cenkla Religi it was, wasn't it? Question 7. Which Euro 96 squad contained the most players that would play for Rovers at some point in their career? So I'm not just talking about who played for Rovers at the time of Euro 96. It's about any time. Someone's got a very loud clock in their house.
Yeah.
Might be me. Sounds like it's coming from a few houses.
Well, I've got one in the kitchen, but It'd just be the brain ticking.
Tricky questions. Right, if we've had a stab at that one, we'll move on to question 8, which is one of my favourite rounds, the link round question even. What links Rovers, the X Factor, super middleweight boxing and Burnley? What links Rovers, the X Factor, super middleweight boxing and Burnley? Give you a teensy bit more of a clue. I could have also chosen light heavyweight boxing. It didn't have to be super middleweight. Okay, we'll move on to question 9. Which former Rover was also an All-Ireland Gaelic footballer? In fact, he was a 2-time All-Ireland Gaelic footballer. And question 10 is worth 5. Name our non-GB and Ireland players of the year. And these players of the year, I don't actually know whether they're players or supporters players, but it's the ones that they use on Wikipedia. You can probably guess how many they've been by the number of marks available. So you're looking for that many. And I'll just put all 10 questions up there. If you missed the first few, if you just joined us a bit late, then all 10 questions are available on the screen there, as the lads just try and think of those players. Just to give you another minute or so. Okay, so let's have a look at these answers then. Start with yourself, Jonathan. It's a pretty tricky one to start with, I think. He only ever played twice for us, but Amina Lenganzi, which country did he play internationally for?
I've gone France, but I'm worried that he's one of those players that was sort of French African, so it's going to be an African nation. But I've gone France.
Mark, do you know?
Yeah, I considered France, to be fair as well. I wasn't sure. I've gone Mali, but
it's Congo. He was born in Algeria. He was brought up in France, and it's one of those, like you say, he could have kind of been any of them. So it's not DR Congo; it's just the Republic of the Congo. He only got 4 caps as well, so a pretty tough one there. Who scored the most goals, league goals? Then Mark, Nuno Gomes or David Goodwillie?
Can't be much in it. I went Gomez.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I went Gomez because I remember Goodwillie getting a hat trick in a cup.
Yeah. So he only got 2 in the league. Gomes got 4.
Yeah.
So it's you're both right there. Jonathan, who got the MBE in 2010?
Jason Roberts.
Mark?
Yeah, same.
Yes, he got it for services to sport for Grenada. Jim Smith's last job, Mark?
I was torn because I remember him being at Portsmouth, but I think he was assistant or director of football to Harry Redknapp, so I went Derby in the end. I think that was his last managerial job.
Jonathan?
I went Portsmouth because I thought Redknapp replaced him.
It was Oxford.
No.
Did Oxford 2006, I think it was. He also was caretaker manager at Oxford afterwards as well, but I didn't count that, but it didn't really matter anyway in the end. Who do we sign Martin Darlene from? Jonathan?
I was torn between Malmo and Gothenburg, but went Malmo.
It wasn't a Swedish club, unfortunately. Mark, do you know?
Gone Palmer, but I could not remember.
You're closer. It's Roma. Who made the most league appearances, Djorkaeff or Baggio? Jonathan?
I went Yuri.
Okay, Mark?
I went Baggio.
It's Baggio, 8-3. None of them were starts. They were all off the bench as well. Dino Baggio. So maybe in terms of minutes, Djorkaeff probably had more, but we don't know. Which Euro 96 squad had the most Rovers players in it? Who are we on now? Jonathan?
It's me, I think. I've gone Scotland.
Scotland, Mark?
Yeah, it was Scotland or England for me, but I went England.
It's Scotland. They had 3. England only had 2. In fact, I think even if you go through it, they're all none of the players subsequently went on to play for Rovers, so it's kind of who you would expect it to be. Jonathan, what was the link between Rovers boxing and all the rest?
No, I really struggled with this, so I just scribbled down a number 1 single.
Right, okay, interesting. Mark Hitchen?
Absolutely no idea.
So it was this. So it's a player who played for Rovers. Burnley had a player of the same surname. The same surname was a unification super middleweight and light heavyweight boxer, and also a winner of the X Factor. It's Ward. Elliot Ward, Shane Ward, Andre Ward, and Stephen Ward. They're always tough, those. Who was the Gaelic footballer? Mark?
I'm going to kick myself this. Just in the end, I've just gone Jeff Kennett, but I don't think that's anywhere near it.
Go a bit further back. Jonathan?
No, I went Damien Duff.
Kevin Moran.
Right.
Won it twice. Played for
I
Dublin.
know when I
So let's see how many of these players of the year we've got. Start with yourself, Jonathan.
Yeah, I quite fancy I've done all right here, famous last words, but I've got Friedel, Tugai, Nzonzi, Marcus Olsen, and Santa Cruz.
You've got 4. Nzonzi wasn't on the list, I don't think. I might have to double check that. I might get Dan to double check because it sounds like I think I've seen him get it. But do you have any others, Mark, that might have been on it?
I got Derek Williams.
Yeah, Ireland. Doesn't he? So John Filan was the first non-GB and Ireland player who ever won it, and then went Friedel, Tugai, Santa Cruz, and Olsen. So that's definitely 4 for Jonathan. How many did you get, Mark?
Of those, 1, just 2.
Just 2. So that makes it 6-6. I make it after that first round.
Yeah, I've got 6. Yeah.
So moving on to, which is quite often the decisive round. This it really depends on which match it is and kind of your memories of it. I've gone relatively recent though, so we should both do all right. Who was the starting 11 versus Brentford on the 7th of May 2017? Just to jog your memory a bit, that's obviously the game that we were relegated in 2017 from the Championship to League One. So obviously just looking for the starting 11 in that match. Bad memories for everybody. was doing the research for this, and I came across the live feed from the day itself, and obviously we got an early goal, and after that point we were 2 places above the relegation zone.
Yeah, I saw your thing on social media that you
I was, because I almost
posted.
gave a bit of a hint there, saying I'm just researching the quiz, and this is what I found
I
out.
didn't even click. I didn't even click that.
But I didn't put that just in case. So that's the starting 11. There's obviously bonus questions as well. These bonus questions are which other teams could have been relegated instead of Rovers on that day. So who else could have gone down instead of us? And who scored Brentford's goal in the game? And just so you guys know, it's the 10-minute countdown for Zoom has started. So we'll have to log in again 10 minutes from now.
Okay.
Let us know how you're doing at home. If you've beaten the 6 that these guys got in the first round, we'd love to know. Also, I'd love to know if you managed to get all 11 players here. Obviously, it's not that long ago. I think a couple of them still play for the club, so be interesting to see if you've got 11 out of here. I think it's definitely gettable. Mikey got 11 in the first semi-final, which really kind of put him in the driving seat in his semi, so we'll see how Jonathan and Mark have got on here. Reminder of those bonus questions as well. It is which other teams could have been relegated instead of us on that day, and who scored Brentford's goal, which I think might be a relatively tricky one to remember. We've had a comment on Facebook, and it's my dad. So thanks, Dad. Thanks for tuning in. I think he just gets to see my face. I think that's the only reason why.
Yeah, what's the comment?
Really enjoyed listening in. Enjoyed. So he's obviously switched off. Logged in,
Yeah.
seen my face, and switched off again. Right.
Yeah, like the first question.
Exactly. Let's get these answers in then before more people switch off. We'll go with Jonathan for the goalkeeper.
David Raya.
Mark, some kind of defence, whether it was a back 3 or back 4.
I remember a back 3 and I went Ward. I think Lenahan's wrong, but I've gone Lenahan and Mulgrew.
And Jonathan, have you got a midfield of some description?
Yeah, so I've got the same back 3, then a midfield 5 of Williams and Nyambe at right back, Danny Guthrie, Jason Lowe, and I've put Bennett in the midfield because I wasn't sure if he played midfield or winger.
Okay, and Mark, some kind of strike force?
Strike force, I think, was Gallagher, Emnes, and Conway.
Okay, so we'll see. I'm not going to ask you for your full 11s. I'll kind of trust you to kind of add up your own, however many you've got. It is David Raya.
Gallagher as a front 2.
It's David Raya in goal. Nyambe, Ward and Mulgrew. Derek Williams, Lenahan, Lowe, Guthrie, Bennett, Graham and Gallagher. I'm not entirely certain who played where, but it doesn't really matter. Are you showing me that because you got all 11?
Yeah, I've got all 11.
Were you at the game, Jonathan?
No, I didn't. I'd been to quite a few of the last ones, but I didn't want to go to that one. I watched it on Sky. I just didn't want to go because I didn't want to be there in case the inevitable happened.
Yeah, I watched it on Sky as well. Mark, how many did you get there?
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Bonus questions. Who else could have been relegated? I'll ask you, Mark.
I struggle for that. I've gone Birmingham and Hull.
Birmingham, right?
Birmingham and Forest.
Forest was the other one. And Brentford's goal, Jonathan?
Lasse Vibe, Vibe.
It is Lasse Vibe.
Yeah.
That's a full 14 for Jonathan. Did you get Vibe, Mark?
Didn't. I went Harladine, but he got sent off.
He did get sent off, yeah, and Conway converted the penalty. So that makes it 20 plays 15. in Jonathan's favour. 5 minutes until we have to log back in. We'll carry on with this round then. It's a rover or not. I've gone for this version of this round here. So just to remind you of what this round entails, I'm going to give you the names of 5 former Rovers players. What I want you to do is tell me, there's 2 marks for each player here. 1 mark for if they played the most number of league games for Rovers. So that's a simple yes or no. Did they play the most league games for Rovers, yes or no? And then the second part of the question is, who did they play either the most league games for or the second most league games for? So, for example, Alan Shearer would be no, and Newcastle. So those are your 5 names there. Marlon Brooms, Jake Keane. Jake Keane, of course, was the subject of a 1875 podcast that came out on Friday. I gave it a listen over the weekend. It's absolutely sensational stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
Really kind of honest. He's only 29 as well, Jake Keane. He's a coach at Notts County. So I was surprised. I didn't actually know he was coaching. So if you haven't seen that or you haven't listened to that podcast yet, I highly recommend it. Great work by Tom Schofield. Damien Duff there, Martin Taylor, and the Jason Roberts. I should have put MBE on the end. Jason Roberts, MBE. Serves as a support for Grenada. I also found out that Ryan Nelson has the ONZM, the Order of New Zealand medal. I was going to use that as part of the quiz, but I couldn't find a way of working it in. So the aim of the game here is to tell me, did these players play the most times for Rovers or not? Yes or no? And then which other club did they play a lot of times for, either the most or the second most?
So there's 10 marks, so you could get...
Possible 10.
You could get...
Yeah. Possible 10. So I don't know if it goes straight onto the answers or not, so we'll go straight in. And Jonathan Marlon Brooms, did he play the most league games for Rovers?
I went no and Grimsby.
No and Grimsby. There is an answer slide. So it is no, so you get the 1 for that. But it's Preston. He played 69 games for Preston. And Mike, how did you do with Marlon Brooms? Maybe I'll just go through them all because we've got 2 minutes. We'll go through them all, and then you can kind of add up as you go, like you did with the 11, if that's okay. Jake Keane, Mark?
I've gone yes, but I think he was on loan somewhere else. And then I've gone Hartlepool. I just couldn't think of the place he was on loan.
That's right. Yes, he played 37 times for us, and that's the most he's played for any club. And you could have had Hartlepool or Mansfield, where he played 19 times. Damien Duff, Jonathan?
I was torn on this one, but I went yes and Chelsea.
It's yes, but it's Fulham. He played 130 times for Fulham. Martin Taylor, Tiny Taylor, Mark?
I've gone yes and Birmingham.
Birmingham's right, but it's a no. He played 88 games for us and 99 for Birmingham. And then Jason Roberts, MBE. Jonathan?
I went no and Wigan.
It's yes and Wigan. So just 1 point out of 2 there. So total up how many you've got out of 10 there for us, guys, and just tell us what it is.
I got 4.
Who was that, sorry?
I got 4, Andy.
4 for Jonathan.
6.
6 for Mark. So we close a little bit back. That's 24 plays 21. It's less than 1 minute left on the Zoom call, so I'll just introduce what the next round is. It's Wish You Were Here, which is going to be a League Cup special. So whilst we kind of log out and log in when it kicks us out, maybe start thinking of grounds that we visited in the last decade or so of League Cup ties. and some of those stadiums will probably be coming up in this round. Only 3 points in it, guys. Do you think it's going to go to a deciding dare duel?
We're doing it on purpose. We want suspense and viewers right to the end, don't we, Mark?
Exactly.
That's all cool.
Good standard so far, though, especially Jonathan in that second round there, getting a full house. I don't think anyone's ever done that before, so well done on that.
Yeah, it's a bit bittersweet for such a miserable round.
Yeah, well, so I've said. Okay. It's really annoying that you have to do this on every Zoom call. But we work with what we've got. At least they're giving it to us for free as it is anyway. Sorry, I was just talking to everybody at home there, Jonathan. You caught me mid-sentence. I think Mark should be on his way back in. He said that the link was not valid, the old
That's
one.
That's what I had as well. I just messaged you that, but you'd sent it the other message at the same time. I've either drunk any of this beer. Here he is. Right, we're back up to a full complement. So we'll take it up from this round here. Not missed anything, 24-21. About to go into the Wish You Were Here round. So as I said, this is a League Cup special. So we should be recognising these from away days in the League Cup. I'm not after the stadium names, just the team who play at these stadiums. So that's the first one. Next one, question 20.
Team name you want, isn't it?
Yeah. Question 21. It's not a competition I get along with that well, the League Cup, even though it was our last piece of silverware. Question 22. And then the final one is obviously question 23. People tend to do quite well in these rounds. I'm not entirely sure why that is. So we'll go through those then. Start with Mark this time. Who was the first one?
Cardiff City.
Yeah, Jonathan, you get that one?
No, I won't.
Cardiff is correct for that one, so that's one there. Did you get the next one, Jonathan?
Yeah, Carlisle.
Hello, Mark, you get that?
Yeah.
And then we had the next one, Mark.
Gillingham.
Jonathan?
Yeah, Gillingham.
Yeah, spot on. Bradley Dack's old stomping ground, of course. And the next one, Jonathan?
Mansfield.
Yeah, it says Stags in that stand there. I thought that was a nice little clue to leave in. Did you get that one, Mark?
I did.
And so for the clean sweep for Mark here, what was the last one?
MK Dons.
It certainly was. Jonathan, you get that?
Yeah, that's MK Dons. Yeah.
It's quite a nice stadium. Yeah, I didn't actually realise.
It's weird to see it full, isn't it? I saw MK Dons straight away, and then the fact it was full, that's what made me second think. But I think that Yokohama thing was there.
Yeah, that's obviously not an MK Dons match, is it? Or it might be.
Must have been did they England under 21s or stuff like that?
Yeah, it looks like an England match to me. But it's still got. Sorry?
I don't think they use the upper tier ordinarily. So.
No. But obviously it's very kind of symmetrical. It's quite pleasing to the eye anyway. So that was another point clawed back. So that makes it 28-26 moving into this round, which I kind of teased last week. So, or last time, it's the SOUNESS era. So we had the Dalglish era in the first semi-final. We're moving on to the SOUNESS era in this one. So let's see how we get on here. It's the final set of kind of regular questions, as it were, before we go into the Dare Duel. 2 points in it. Let us know how you're getting on at home. If you've managed to get more than 28, which is the current leading score from Jonathan. And also let us know if you've got any visitors' questions, some viewers' questions, sorry. So, first question, what position were Rovers in when SOUNESS was appointed? Obviously, it was in the, I was going to say the Championship. I don't think it was called the Championship then, was it? First Division?
First Division, was it still, yeah.
So what position were Rovers in when SOUNESS was appointed? It's probably a bit of a stab in the dark one, really. But we might get a little bit more knowledge out of the next one. So there's 2 marks available here. What I want to know is who scored in our opening day 2-0 win over Crystal Palace in the 2000-2001 season, which is obviously SOUNESS's first full season in charge and also the season we were promoted. So the opening day victory against Crystal Palace, 2-0 at Ewood, I think it was. And who scored in that game? Question 26. What was unusual about David Dunn's performance in the 6-1 win over Rochdale in the League Cup in 2000-2001? So what was unusual about David Dunn's performance that day? Question 27, still in the same season. Who scored in 4 consecutive matches in February-March to put us into the automatic promotion places? 2 matches in February, 2 in March. Scored in 4 consecutive matches. What a season that was. That was like the nadir almost of my teenage following Rovers. Question 28. So moving into the following season now, Matt Jansen scored 6 goals in our Warrington Cup run, including one in the opening round against Oldham. But who else scored in that 2-0 win? And who would have known in that September Oldham win that it would be the start of our last piece of silverware? I wonder if anyone's getting this at home. Just testing the old memory of this. Question 29. How many points did we win in December, January and February? So all 3 months. I'll tell you how many games it was. It was 12 matches across December, January and February in 01, 02. So that's obviously the season, our first season back in the Premier League.
12 matches.
12 matches, yeah. Tough questions, these. Question 30. Which midfielder played the most matches for an outfielder in 01 or 02? So Brad Friedel played the most matches in total, but which midfielder played the most matches for an outfielder in that season? Question number 31. Who was our top Premier League goal scorer in 02 or 03?
So that's just league goals then, yeah.
Just league goals. It's actually someone different for total number of goals, but just talking Premier League alone here. Question number 32. Who made more appearances in 02 or 03? So sticking with that season, I give you 3 choices. So it's out of these 3. Matt Jansen, Corrado Grabby or Hakan Sukur? Who made the most appearances in that season out of those 3? And that's not just league appearances, it says appearances, so we're talking about cups as well as league, if that leans you any particular way. Question 33. Which German international played 25 times in the Premier League for us in 03 or 04? Okay, I think this is the last question in the quiz. 2 marks available. Which club came in for SOUNESS early in the 04 or 05 season? And the supplementary question to that is, did Rovers finish ahead of them in the final table? So which club did SOUNESS leave us for? And did we finish ahead of them under Sparky? Because Mark Hughes is the person to take over after SOUNESS. So only 2 points in it coming into this round, so every one is vital. It looks like it might be going to a duel either way, but let's see who has the advantage going into that, shall we? So let's get some answers. Oh, I haven't been writing these questions as I've been going. So, which position were we in? Let's stab in the dark, I know, but Jonathan, I'll start with you on that one.
I went 11th.
Which is the same position that Dalglish took over in.
Yeah.
It is 11th.
Oh,
So that's a good stab in the dark. Mark, the next question.
Yeah.
I can't remember them. Here it is.
It was the 2 scorers on the first day against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
You get either?
Janssen and Dunn.
Janssen's right.
I went Janssen and Nathan Blake.
Correct. Oh my goodness. Good start to the round. Janssen and Nathan Blake. Then I think the next question is about David Dunn. What was David Dunn's remarkable kind of performance against Rochdale?
That was a hat trick of penalties.
It was.
Yeah. So you both got that one. Hat trick of penalties. Who scored? Is it 4 consecutive goals?
Yeah.
Next question. Mark, do you know?
Hignett.
It's not Hignett. Jonathan?
I went Janssen, but I think that's too obvious.
It's Marcus Bent. We didn't think he scored that many for us. I don't think he did, but he got 4 in a row in February, March, which really helped out and get us into those automatic positions. So I think it's moving to the next round. So is it who scored the other goal in the Oldham match? Jonathan, do you know?
I had a stab at Damien Johnson.
I think it's Darren Dunning.
Darren Dunning. That's correct. He's only ever
well played, Mark.
He's only ever gone for Rovers. Didn't go on to have a massively successful career, but always has that kind of claim to fame, as it were. Next question. Can't remember what it was.
That was the number of points, wasn't it?
Number of points we won. Again, stab in the dark, really.
Yeah.
How did we go? Go
on.
I went 5 because I just remember us being awful for a spell up until the League Cup final.
It was really bad. Yeah, it was 6 actually. 2 wins, 10 defeats. You say 4, Mark?
No.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the season before, so I've gone 34, thinking, well, it must be something impressive, one way or the other. But yeah.
Yeah, impressive in another way. But we really picked up after that, and we went
after the League Cup final, didn't we?
We finished in 10th, if memory serves me right. Like I say, after the League Cup final, we just went on a massive run, maybe with the confidence that we got from that. Next question. Again, I can't remember because I didn't write it down.
That's the midfielder.
Oh, yes. So who was that then? Jonathan?
I went Gary Flitcroft.
It's not Flitty. It was a player who signed for us in the close season. Right. 2 guy.
No.
Played almost every league game. And then the next question.
The top scorer one.
Scorer, league goal scorer. Mark?
Gone Cole.
I went Damien Duff because I remember there was one year he got it.
Yes, Damien Duff got 9. York and Cole tied top scorers for 13 all told, but Damien Duff was a top Premier League goal scorer. Oh, I've kind of given the next one away. So Grabby was the player who made the most appearances out of those 3. Did you both get that, or either? John?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
I got Grabby. I knew Janssen had come off his injury, and then I remember Suker having an injury, and then when you said not just league, I plumped for Grabby.
Mark, did you get that one?
I didn't, no.
No. Question 33 then was
the German international.
Yeah.
Marcus Babbel.
Yeah.
Mark, did you get that?
I did, yeah.
And then the last one, so he left, I presume you both got Newcastle?
Yeah.
And did we finish above them?
I got yes.
I went no.
Mark, you went yes. It's no, we were actually 1 place behind them in the grand scheme of things. So I make that 9-5 in that round.
Yeah, I got 9, yeah.
That's frustrating. You know why? I suspect you do know why, because it makes it 37-31, which means you're ahead by 6, which means that you are in the final, Jonathan. So congratulations. Really high standard, especially in that last round there, and also in that second round. But we'll play the dare duel anyway, if that's okay with you two.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
The dare duel category is players who scored in the 92-93 season. So the first season of the Premier League. It's not just Premier League goals that I'm looking for. It's anyone who scored in that season, so that includes cup runs as well. And we had a couple of decent cup runs that season in both competitions. So we'll start with Mark as he's behind. First of all, give us a ball, kind of the first guess as to how many you might be able to name. And then we'll see if Jonathan will go over that or ask Mark to name them. And then we'll keep going to see what we ended up at.
Yeah. First season back up, wasn't it? So I reckon probably 8.
First guess is 8. Jonathan?
9.
I don't know whether he's lulling you into a false sense of security there, Mark, but it was a tentative 9.
I know. Thinking that. Go on, good 10.
Yeah, I'll let you name 10, Mark.
Okay, Mark's going to go for the 10 here. See if we can.
I've got 9 written down, so I was struggling for a 10. So.
Okay. Mark Hitchen, 10 players who scored in the 1992-93 season.
Right. Shearer.
Yeah.
Newell.
Yeah.
Hendry.
Yeah.
Moran.
Yeah.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
Ripley.
Yeah.
Wilcox.
Yeah.
Atkins.
Correct.
Wegerle.
Correct. So that's 9. So I will ask you to just hold on for a second and just consider your 10th. So this is for the 5 points.
I'm going to go Sherwood.
Tim Sherwood, right. So I said it was not just in the league. You could have gone cup. Steve Livingston scored for us in the cup that season. You could have had him. You could have had Gordon Cowans as well.
Yeah, I had Cowans.
What would you have Cowans have left? That's what I was trying to work out.
I think he scored. Did he score against Norwich?
Scored against Norwich in the 7-1.
Yeah, 7-1.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
but
did.
Who else scored in that 7-1?
Sherwood.
Tim Sherwood. So well done, Mike. There's the full list there for you.
Of course he did.
It's kind of in date order, apart from Livingston and Patrick Anderson, because they were cup goals. There's not that many, as you can see. So you
There's not. You done well. You done well, Mark.
Not as many in the squad in those days. So
yeah,
David May.
David May was the only other league goal scorer that you didn't get. Steve Livingston in the League Cup.
I'll be honest, I'd have gone Alan Wright, or I know Lasso came later on, but I'd have gone Alan Wright or Lasso. Alan Wright was the one I was thinking. I seem to remember him doing, but
yeah. Wilcox was my question mark for my 10, and I just couldn't remember if he played that much that season, because I know he didn't start at the beginning.
I was doing that, trying to run through the season. So I was like, well, I know we had Wegerle, and he will have scored, and then I know Gallagher. That's you go through.
Yeah.
Exactly. Gallagher was quite late on there, and because he came in from Coventry, didn't he, during that season? So well done. So that kind of narrows the gap, as it were. We end up on a final score of 37-36. So maybe it looks closer than what it was in the end because of the nature of it. Forget about that because it's not out of 47. I didn't change that one. We don't have a viewer's question, I don't think, unless Dan could tell me otherwise. No, but we can just play along with this if you like. I don't have the full set of answers either, so it's a bit frustrating. But there are 11 cities that have had 2 teams within the city that have made it to at least the European Cup semi-final or Champions League semi-final. So obviously, you can start off with London. They've had at least Chelsea, Arsenal, probably others as well. So we'll start with London.
You've got Madrid.
Madrid, yeah.
I take it we're talking globally.
Yes, I mean obviously only Europe.
Milan.
Milan.
So what really, it was at least a city with two teams, and they both reached the semi-finals.
Not in the same year. It's just across the entirety of the European Cup era. So from the 50s. So you have.
You see, we've got Forest, haven't we? And we've got Villa.
You've got Manchester as well. City have done it.
Yeah, it's Manchester.
Glasgow.
Yeah, is Rome one with Roma and Lazio?
It's not. Lazio haven't made it.
Liverpool? Everton ever got that?
I don't think Liverpool's right.
Yeah.
Not Munich? I don't know whether 1860 would have done.
1860 haven't, just Bayern. I do have some of the other answers here. Bucharest. Steaua Bucharest obviously won it in 88 or 87, I think. But another Bucharest team made it early on in the competition. Belgrade's another one. Red Star won it. And I think Partizan made it into the semi-finals. Budapest, back in the day, is correct.
There's nothing Portuguese.
Yeah, I was going to
Nothing Portuguese, no.
Is there any more Spain? Not Barcelona, because of Barcelona and Espanyol.
Dundee is correct. Dundee United made it in the 80s. Dundee in the 60s. Vienna is also right. And I think that might be it. So there you go. If anyone has stayed with us to the end there, that was a nice little non-Rovers question at the end, but needs must. Well done to Jonathan, representing Rovers Chat in the final. Thank you to Mark for making it so entertaining as well. And I'm not just talking about the hairstyle, I'm also talking about the quiz knowledge and making it close all the way to the end. Thank you to those of you that have watched and played along. And we'll see you again for the final in a couple of weeks. It'll be Mikey against Jonathan. Mark as a now kind of impartial observer.